Braun beats the brakes out of him and takes the briefcase. You're not passing me nothing.
Welcome to the Pin Down, the Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling Show. Kent Brown and Gene Chery here with you post Saturday night's main event, post Evolution, post AEW All In. But the big topic right out of the gate, Gene, we got to get to it. The OTC has returned. The original tribal chief, Roman Reigns, comes out at the end of Raw. It was a gauntlet match. CM Punk gets the victory. The Vision starts beating him up. And there's Reigns' music. He gets a spear. He gets a couple Superman punches. And now he's back. So what was your initial thoughts when you saw Roman Reigns back in the squared circle Monday night?
It's about time. And I think that was the mindset of every WWE fan who saw him return on Monday night. WWE is much better when Roman Reigns is around. Water is wet. The man is a superstar, bro. Like, whenever you see him, you just know he is box office. And it just goes to show how far he's come, right? Like 10 years ago, he was getting booed out of the building. And now he's by far the biggest star in probably all of pro wrestling right now. I wish we saw him more often. I wish we got to see him a couple more times before we got to SummerSlam. But I know we're going to talk about Seth Rollins later on, but you can see why they protect guys like this to avoid any major injuries, because he is a gem in WWE, and Monday night just proved it.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that even if you're not a wrestling fan, if you happen to stumble across his presence, see his entrance, see him in the ring, see a promo, see him on a billboard, you go, that's their superstar. Cody Rhodes, John Cena, CM Punk, guys like that we know and we love, and they're big stars. But I'm with you. I don't think there's a bigger superstar than Roman Reigns in all of pro wrestling. And no matter where he fits on the card, which is also great when it comes to SummerSlam, he's not going to be in a world title picture, but he's always lurking. Any match he's in is must see. And when he came into that ring, he was the guy. And we had CM Punk laying there. We had Jey Uso there. We had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman. But OTC1, as they're now calling him, you know, he comes back. You got to get new merch. That's what they're rolling with. There's still the Seth Rollins stuff he can get to. It probably was going to be a one-on-one with Rollins at SummerSlam is what I would imagine they were shooting for. But right now, you have plenty that you can work with him in with. And when Roman Reigns is there, it makes the product better. It makes WWE better. It also, frankly, allows people to realize, as you said, why he was the main eventer for so long. Even when the fans weren't behind him and they were booing him, he was still the superstar. There was still Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. There was Triple H and Roman Reigns. There was John Cena and Roman Reigns. And now it's pretty evident when he's back, it's a much better product. And I loved it, and I love seeing him back, and I can't wait to see what they do with him. As SummerSlam all of a sudden is right around the corner, they're going to be building something pretty quickly.
Well, and you mentioned Brock, right? What Brock and Roman, what do these guys have in common? They look like stars, man. They walk into a room and the world just stops, man. Roman Reigns looks the part. When he brought Bronson Reed over his shoulder easily, I might add, and just Samoan dropped him. You're like, oh my God, when was the last time we saw a babyface just brutalize these opponents? Cody's great, but he's not going in there throwing guys over his shoulder and doing these power moves, which I think we're missing from these baby faces in the WWE today. Roman Reigns looks the part, he acts the part, and it's just, he raises the bar. He is the needle mover, and he just continues to prove it every time he's on screen.
Yeah, the modern day big guy where he's not only capable of doing the power moves, but he can also do much more in the ring. And just the presence alone, when he entered that ring, it changed the entire vibe of how Monday Night Raw finished. And it was one of the best Raws. The gauntlet match was awesome. But let's now turn to Saturday night's main event. We discussed last week, and it was a social question, and we talked about it plenty of times, is LA Knight going to eventually be a world champion? And then you saw him in the ring with Seth Rollins. All of a sudden, Rollins is in the corner. We're not sure exactly what happened. It's pretty evident. He went down with a knee injury. LA Knight gets the victory over him. But now the bigger story is Seth Rollins' injury. I think they were smart on Monday Night, Gene, to not come out and say he's officially out for a while. For two reasons. One is they might not know the severity of it. And secondly, because he's the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, why not play this out a little longer? And whether he's hurt whether he's not hurt, you can play the quote unquote cash in game with the Seth Rollins that's not even on the card because he can cash in at any time. So I like what they're doing with this right now, that we haven't seen a definitive he's out for 3 or 4 months. But on the other hand, it changes the whole game because Seth Rollins is right there, A1, A2, wherever you want to slot him in terms of positioning. He's at the top of this card. He's probably the best weekly worker we have on the WWE roster. And now it appears he's probably going to be out a few months.
It depends on how you look at it, right? Like, yes, on one hand, he has the Money in the Bank briefcase, so there's really no rush for him to come back if he doesn't have to. 2, if there were any plans to have Seth involved with Cena's departure or have him be the guy to eventually beat Cena, if this is an injury that's going to keep him out for 6 to 7 months, that's out the window. The cool thing is about it, like you said, they have a lot of ways they can go with this. They can give it to Braun Breaker or maybe Bronson Reed. You know, like, this briefcase can be Seth theoretically passing the torch, which goes on to my bigger point. I think it's time that we stop seeing Seth Rollins as a full-time worker. I think his body has been through enough. I can't count how many times his knee has given out on him. And at this point in his career, he deserves the Roman Reigns schedule, the CM Punk schedule. Yes, maybe we see him on Raw wrestling here or there, but the guy has done more than enough to take a break, because it's sad seeing him continuously lose time because of injuries. I understand they gave him Paul Heyman, so this was really his time to really grab the ball and score. But I think that time has passed. But that doesn't mean he's not a great worker. But I think seeing him as a full-time worker, I think those days are done.
Yeah, I feel like the thing with him, though, is he's such a dynamic wrestler that's just how he wrestles. So it's one of those, whether he's full-time, short-term, whatever it may be. And you're right, the longer it goes, he's not going to be doing 200 shows or 100 shows or anything like that. But on the other hand, just the way he wrestles, he's not a mat technician per se. He's not a guy that's just going to be power moves and keep it on the mat or go outside and kind of do your wild stuff. He's going to be, almost that Shawn Michaels, where Shawn Michaels got hurt all the time too because of the nature of how he wrestled, and you just almost have to live with it. But yeah, it's disappointing to see. But you brought up a good point, Gene, and this is where I want to throw this out here. Should he give it to Braun Breaker? Should they just pass the Money in the Bank briefcase over to Braun and say, it's yours now. You're our vision. You're our future. Why not? The time is now. I wouldn't mind if they do that.
Hey, I'll do you one better, man. How do you see this? Seth comes out saying he wants to keep the briefcase. He can't wait to cash in. Braun beats the brakes out of him and takes the briefcase. You're not passing me nothing. I'm Braun Breaker. I am taking it from you. I'm taking your wise man. I'm taking the briefcase. Seth can go off into the sunset for 8 months, whatever, really heal up, come back. We'll get a Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins WrestleMania event, which honestly they were teasing before the injury. I like that idea. I think Braun Breaker should be the guy to put shit up. I think Braun Breaker should be the guy to put Seth on the shelf for good until he returns back 100%.
I couldn't have said it any better. I feel like if you're rewriting the script, you just took my script and made it 30 times better. I'm with you 100%, Gene. That's the way to do it. Build Braun Breaker up, let Seth go away, and then when he returns, he's the baby face of all baby faces, and you set up what we know, as you said, is going to probably be a feud down the line. Let's go from that cash in, or that Money in the Bank briefcase, to the one on Sunday night at Evolution. We had Io Sky, Rhea Ripley. It was a great match, and then Naomi's music hits. And you're like, wait a second, this is the wrong title. Naomi's not on that show. Doesn't matter. You can cash in on whoever you want. Naomi cashes in, steals the pin, and becomes the women's world champion, which sets up at SummerSlam now a triple threat match between Ripley, Sky, and Naomi. I was shocked. I did not see it coming, because what they did in WrestleMania 31 callback, you lose your match earlier, people kind of forget about you, and then you come back, 2 people in the ring, you get the pin, and you leave champion. I thought it was a great way to end the night at Evolution, and a great thing for Naomi, the biggest moment that she's ever had, and it should set up a great feud as we head towards SummerSlam.
And this is why we love pro wrestling, right? For moments like this, when you see, even though she's a heel, you see someone who's given over 10 years, damn near over 15 years into the business, finally get their moment to shine. I think fans completely forgot the fact that she was a heel, considering how popular Io and Rhea are. The fact that Naomi got the win, it was kind of like, you know what? Let's appreciate this woman for everything she's done for the business, and she deserved that moment. Now, storyline-wise, I thought this was brilliant, man, because there was no way you saw this coming at all. She is a SmackDown superstar. And not only did she win the championship, the Women's World Championship, she opened up Monday Night Raw on Monday. Like, that first half of Raw was all women's wrestling, which I thought was super dope, considering how lackluster the build-up for Evolution 2 was. But Naomi has proven, like, yo, she can, not only can she wrestle, she can talk trash, man. And she's a full heel. She's the type of heel that takes her character, even when the cameras aren't rolling, which I really love. Like, if you're following her on Twitter, like, her tweets are hilarious. For me, she is awesome, and it couldn't have been a better moment for her. And as for Rhea and Io, I'm so happy that Adam Pearce gave them their flowers, because that match they had before the cash-in was incredible. You were looking at probably match of the year. And still, considering the ending, it can still be up for match of the year. But that triple threat match, I think they're going to tear the house down, and it might be the show stealer of SummerSlam.
Yeah, 6 matches now set for SummerSlam as of now, 2 nights. It'll set up well. But Naomi, I also loved her promo where she was like, the fans started cheering a bit, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
You didn't like me before. Now that I'm champ, don't start this now. You know, I hate you. You should hate me. Set that tone that you're not doing. You know, you're not trying to win me over. I'm not trying to win you over. I'll do what I can to keep this gold around my waist, over my shoulder. And that was a great way to end Evolution. Overall, a pretty good weekend where the double show in Atlanta, SummerSlam's around the corner. That's going to do it here for another episode of The Pin Down, the Sports Illustrated Pro Wrestling Show. Thanks for watching.